It's Nolan. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Y'all already know what we're here for, but before we get into it, I want to give a big shout out to Miss Rhonda for the continued support on the channel. I greatly appreciate you. Much love and respect. Throughout the course of this year, the first 7 months of this year, I've been very critical of Lotto. I've been telling everybody that would listen how much I just want her to put out a solid project, really get to the, you know what I'm saying, get to the shits. Because I feel like she has the tools, she has all of the intangibles to be a long-term artist. And I felt like this year she wasn't really displaying that. She was putting out records that I felt were cool, but they weren't singles, right? But she was releasing them as singles. She was releasing them as like, you know, here's what I've been working on. And it's kind of like somebody who's really smart in school, and then they come turn in a mediocre term paper and you like, I know you could do so much better than this. It's cool based on everybody else's standards, but based on your potential, I'm going to ask more of you. That's how I've been treating Lotto all year. Okay? So now that we're getting into Sugar Honey Iced Tea, it's finally out. We're finally able to listen to it top to bottom, front to back. What are we thinking about this album? I'll go ahead and tell y'all what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Lotto deserves a round of fucking applause. Let's give Lotto a fucking round of applause. Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Big Lotto, big mama. Hey man, I can be critical of you, but I can also give credit where it's due. I ain't never said I ain't like Lotto as an artist. I ain't never said she was whack. I ain't never said she couldn't rap. But here's something I did not think I was going to be saying. Album of the year, album of the year, album of the year, album of the year. That's what I'm saying. Album of the fucking year. At least up to August. And I ain't just talking about from the ladies. I think this is the most cohesive album we've heard in hip hop in a nice minute from an artist that has mainstream success and appeal. I want to go ahead and put that distinction out there because I know the hardcore hip hop fans are going to tell me about, oh man, I got motherfucking Jim. You know what I'm saying? Some nigga who ain't nobody, you know what I mean, worried about. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you feel, listen to Jim. But when it comes to the greater conversation, when it comes to the music that people are actually consuming, people are showing up and supporting, that have support, that drive conversation, this is the best album of the year and the best album I've heard in a minute. So argue with your best friend, scream at the wall. This is solid music. Now, that doesn't mean that nothing else from this point can contend, but up to August, this is the best album. All right? We just gonna keep it a fucking buck. Okay? But let's get into it. Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Number one, I feel like this project is very indicative of like who Lotto is, who she's been trying to portray, who she's been trying to get us to buy into for a minute. And for whatever reason, the translation of that hasn't been the best in terms of the market. I feel like when she signed that major deal, it was a little bit of a setback for her. And I don't mean a setback in terms of commercial success, because Big Energy, Lottery, the Big Energy remix with Mariah, all of that stuff catapulted her to a totally different level to where this album could be part of the conversation, right? But when you go back and listen to 777, it ain't all that crazy. You know what I'm saying? It had some records on there. But for a nigga like me that really wants to hear shit in a certain fashion, I felt like she was sacrificing a bit of her artistry. That's my assessment of it. Y'all don't have to agree. Just my assessment, right? They had her doing all these features with Wayne, Savage, Childish Gambino. Some of those, I mean, these were good features too, by the way. Kodak Black, right? RCA at the helm of this. It just felt, they had it's giving Bows bitch. That was cool. It was it was a little something, but it didn't really translate. You feel me? It felt corny, to be honest. I think they were trying to force the Pharrell collaborations, Pharrell and Lotto. Pharrell is a dope producer, been a dope producer for a very long time. It just didn't, it didn't punch you in the gut. I feel like this album actually sticks to the stomach. You know what I'm saying? And they gave her every opportunity to be herself in different forms. So the top of the album, you get more of the street records, some of the harder shit. And then as the album develops, you actually get to hear the development of Lotto from kind of, I guess you could say like a girl. And I don't mean girl in a derogatory fashion. I mean girl as in terms of like mentally, you hear like the more street records, the bullshit, I'm with the shits, da 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 da. To then you hear her kind of getting and settling into mature woman with her man, love songs. And it doesn't feel forced. So I feel like during the time that I was criticizing those singles, criticizing the lack of captivating records that really made people interested in the album, which I still think was an interesting strategy. I wish they would have just put one of the stronger records out ahead of time, just for extra fanfare coming into the album. She really put her effort, her time into creating a cohesive body of work that can be played back again and again, and she succeeded. All right, so let's get to it. Georgia Peach. First thing on Georgia Peach is you get this intro that's kind of reminding me of Damn by Kendrick Lamar. Remember Damn? Is it wickedness? You know what I'm saying? In her album, is this what you want? Is this what you need? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, I don't know if that was the inspiration, but it sounds a little similar. Cool. She comes in, she starts rapping. She's kind of giving me a little bit of that Big Mama, remember, Big Mama melody and shit like that. But she's spitting on this motherfucking intro. You know what I'm saying? And from what I can tell, just off rip, I know it's not Drake's season right now. Niggas don't like Drake and everybody's like shunning anything regarding his name. But prior to this album, Lotto did say that she took some inspiration from Drake as far as like putting together melodies and stuff like that. So you could definitely hear she's not trying to like do too much. She's like learning how to use her voice in a way that actually sounds pleasant to the ear, which is what some artists need to learn as well when they try to sing. Right? Oh man, I like that song. We get into the next one. That's Big Mama, right? I did not care for Big Mama when I first heard it. And it's exactly for the reason I stated in the beginning of this video. I felt like it just wasn't good enough to be a single. It wasn't strong enough. It didn't have no staying power. It's not something people was really going to come back to in terms of a single. When you think of a single, you're thinking of something that people are going to live with until the album comes out. That wasn't it. But in the sequencing of the album, it fits perfectly, and it actually has allowed me the room to like the record. The next up, we got Blicksum. Blicksum. Now on this one, she's spitting on Blicksum. My only problem with Blicksum is the way she's positing this record, right? Basically saying, if you love me, you go shoot this nigga block up. Oh my God. It's just like, Y'all remember the Glorilla EP? I know y'all still been listening to it, everything, where she got that song on there where she fucking with a nigga from the ops. She fucking with a nigga from the hood that killed one of her family members or some shit, but she loved this nigga. It's like, whoa, this is hood princess activity that we don't need to know. But in this one, this is an age-old story going back to like war days, kingdoms and shit, you know? The queen just don't like a nigga, and it's like, he needs to be dead or you don't love me. And the nigga go run off and get himself clapped. Run off into the wilderness and never return. Now you got to tell the kid, your daddy was a great man. Hey, damn, mama, why is daddy dead? We don't talk about that, baby, but he was a great man. What the hell's going on? That shit problematic as fuck, but it sounds good. Damn. If you love me, you go clap that nigga. Ain't that about a bitch? I'm gonna make the booty clap. Now go clap that nigga. She be riding on you, so you better go ride on these niggas. Oh my goodness. Bust for me like I've been busting for you. Oh my goodness. Lotto, you are out of fucking pocket. Blitz some. When I heard it in the trailer, I thought she was saying blitz something like running nigga, but I guess, I guess niggas is still getting blitzed with the blick. Fuck. Wonder how many niggas gonna die to that song. Goodness gracious. All right. So now we get to Settle Down. I like Settle Down. It took me a while before I heard something that I really didn't like on this album, which is why I'm so impressed, which is why I'm giving it such high praises. It's kind of ridiculous because I didn't think she really had this in her, you know what I mean, to make this level of an album. I like the beat. I like how she's switching her flows up on this one. And at this point in the album, I'm like, she really put put it on the flow to the side. Because I feel she's been riding on that shit for like 2 years. We don't really hear it on the album. Excuse me. We don't really hear it on the album, no. And she's not going to win no lyricist of the year off of these records, but it's clever shit. She sounds good. The beat is hard. It's a vibe. Next up, we get the Shrimp and Grits. Beat is hard. Production on this album is hard. Go Grizzly. You might be contender for hip hop producer of the year, my guy. You've been killing shit. You've been scraping shit for a minute, actually. But you did your shit on this album. Now, on Shrimp and Grits, I already said you was out of pocket for the Blick Something record. You are way out of pocket to open up a song, first line, talking about squatting on a nigga, he drinking your piss. Flag on the motherfucking play. What is your problem? What is your problem? Do you need to see someone? Do you need to talk to someone? Do you need to have a counseling meeting? What is your problem? The fuck going on, man? Let's get the Shrimp and Grits. We're not gonna quote Young Nudie. I don't really like Young Nudie. He was passable on the record. I will deduct points on Lotto. The male features on this album were underwhelming. The ladies shine though. Is what it is. He was tolerable, but I could have did without him. Next up, we got There She Go. This record, they flipped back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. Back then, they didn't want me. But what they did was they pitched it down to where it doesn't sound exactly like the original. It is a loop, a straight up loop. But the way that they pitched it down and then through the 808s and shit, they made it sound Atlanta versus how it sounded uniquely Texas at that time. which is a very interesting way to sample it, right? She talking cash shit, man. And if that's not your lane, if that's not what you like to hear, I understand why you wouldn't like the album, because it's all over it. But if you like hard beats and shit talk, which is customary for southern hip hop, this is like heaven. I'm not gonna lie to you. Next up, Brokey. We actually heard her sample this earlier in the year. She was in the club, hanging out with Kevin Hart and shit. She played this record. This shit tough too. Shout out to Coop on this one. It beat hard. Not my favorite from the album, but tough, and I won't skip it when it gets played. Next up, you got the Mimi interlude. Sounds like it's her mom. Very happy for her, celebrating song with J Lo, which she did do a good job on the J Lo record. Her going out of overseas, think Paris or some shit. So just her mom celebrating her, and can't wait till she gets home. Great. Next up, we get H&M, aka Hurt and Miserable, which she previewed this about a week ago prior to the album dropping. I said that I liked this when she played it in the studio. I still like this record. Again, it took me a minute to find one that I really did not like. This shit is tough. I was being hurt and miserable. Very catchy, very poppy, yet hard production. We're going to get to my synopsis of why some of this stuff was made the way it was. Very clever, very smart. Next up, we got Copper Code featuring Huncho. To be honest, she kind of had the same kind of cadence as Big Mama on Copper Cove. But I like the beat. I like the track. I like the late 90s, early 2000s, like R&B vibe. Don't care for Huncho, I'm be honest. You couldn't even really tell what the fuck the nigga was saying. You know, he one of them niggas that don't like to open his fucking mouth when he talk or something. It's tolerable, but I honestly would have loved, based on the way that the song was written and the way that the hook is delivered, I would have loved to replace Huncho with Summer Walker. It even sounds like Summer Walker might be in the backgrounds on the hook. It sounds like a Summer Walker song, like it was meant for her, but she slid it to Lotto. That's what it sounds like. I would have loved for her to replace him on that verse, but you know, Huncho is somewhat popular out here for some reason. Next up, Ear Candy featuring Coco Jones. I fuck with this record. I think this could definitely hit those R&B stations. The Urban AC, they love Coco Jones. Think they should get a video for this record as well. I fuck with Ear Candy. And I'm be very transparent. I typically don't like hip-hop love songs all that much. But they did a really good job on this. Ear Candy. She kind of got in some storytelling on this motherfucker too. Little flow switch. I like the record. We're going to keep this moving. Next up, Liquor. Liquor is not my favorite record. It's tolerable, it's decent, it's cool. Could have lived without it. I feel like some of these other records kind of speak to the same content as Liquor. Could have lived without it. Therefore, we're going to skip it. But in the sequencing of the album, it's cool. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It fits. It's just not my favorite. Next up, we got Squeeze featuring Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion. Now this one, we start moving into another direction with the album. This is where we start getting into the pop section of the album, right? So we started hard. We start moving into a little bit of R&B. Now we're getting into a little bit of a pop bag. But it's still, you know what I mean? It's not pop like no Katy Perry shit like that's finna drop soon. This is like, you know, rap pop. This song, Squeeze, reminds me of like Black Eyed Peas era, but with a mix of Atlanta bass. You know what I'm saying? That's how it sounded to me. You may digest it differently, but that's what I received. And just as I was making my inference when I was listening to the record, I'm like, this reminds me of like some Black Eyed Peas shit. Megan Thee Stallion jumps out and makes a Fergie reference. Talking about these humps or whatever. So I think I was pretty much justified in what I was thinking. In this verse from Megan, she makes reference to the lipo allegations, basically saying her body is cut without surgery. You know what I'm saying? So she put it out there. Like, y'all keep talking about this shit. It's not real. I'm out here getting cut because I switched my diet. I'm working out hard. I'm out here performing on stages. What the fuck more do you want from me? On first listen, I really didn't care for this song all that much. Megan did a good job on the feature. I came back and listened to it today. I understood it a lot more. I'm like, okay, this is radio shit. This is pop radio shit. Cool. I'm not a pop nigga. This ain't that rap shit that you've been hearing on the album. This is pop. This is going for radio. Okay? Next up, Good to You featuring Sierra. This is going to be another pop radio record. This is where you get some skating rink vibes. You know what I'm saying? But it's very Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Introducing some Atlanta bass. Just like the record that leaked with Drake. That I don't know why it didn't make the album, but it didn't. But that was even giving you Miami and Atlanta bass, which was a very fun era if you were able to live through it in any capacity. I'm gonna show you better, you know you not. Now show me now. If you wasn't there for that, just some things just can't get back, huh? But yeah, you know, you see all of the different like pockets that Lotto's reaching into. We're not gonna like try to go into the lyrics and stuff on this side of the album because it ain't really about that. Next up, you got Look What You Did featuring Mariah the Scientist. And this is going for that urban AC, that adult contemporary Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, Frank Ski Warner show type music, you know what I'm saying? Which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it to be funny. I'm saying that she's trying to conquer a lot of different zones within the album. But it's all authentic and it all feels real. It doesn't feel like stretched. Look What You Did is not my favorite either. I like Good to You with Sierra, by the way. But this one my favorite. I'm really not like a huge Mariah the Scientist fan. You know what I mean? But I see where all this is going. Next up, we got Prized Possession. I like Prized Possession a lot. But I got to deduct points on the Tizo touchdown feature. I told y'all, the niggas on this album didn't do it for me. Now, this is not a knock on Tizo, or maybe it is. But when he comes in singing, it sounds like he's doing his best Ty Dolla $ign impression. And when we get to that kind of space, I'm like, why not just get Ty Dolla $ign? I don't know if he was too busy, you know what I mean, because he been kind of like shadowing Ye for the last couple years. They're doing the Vultures 1, Vultures 2 just dropped, all that type shit. So maybe Ty had too much dip on his chip. He couldn't come do it. But if you take everything that Tizo touchdown sung on this record and you put Ty Dolla $ign vocals in there, the song clicks. I add it to my playlist and I'm happy. But his delivery, he's hitting the notes. But it just sounds blah. He's hitting the notes though. I'm not saying he can't sing. He just don't feel authentic. Him going back and forth with Lotto in the little duet piece. She sounds good. He sounds passable. Again, he's hitting the notes. But it don't sound believable. It don't sound like they supposed to really be doing that. It sound like Ty should have did that. It's just me. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But I think you should. Then we got Shout Out to Me. She was spitting on this motherfucker. She was spitting on this motherfucker. Big shout out to me. Big shout out to me. Okay. Once again, this is another record. When she performed this at the BET Awards, I told y'all I heard some Drake influence in the way she was delivering her bars. I hear it even more on this album version with the beat, the cadence. Some people tried to say, no, it sounds like 21 Savage to me. No. On God, when she say that, it do sound like him, but this is pure Drakeism. Okay? And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying it's an undeniable influence on this record. If you haven't listened to Drake in his rap bag, just pull up fucking Churchill Downs, him and Jack Harlow. Pull up his verse. That whole cadence is all over this. Lemon Pepper Freestyle, pull up Drake's verse. Cadence is all over this. But I don't want to say that to diminish what she's talking about and how she sounds on this record. I'm just saying, as a hip hop fan, as somebody who catches on to people's archetypes when a song plays, I heard it. Bye, sis. Funny thing about it, you can't look me in my eyes, sis. Isis, Ice Spice. What's her real name? Isis? Yikes. Bye, sis. She says, funny thing about it, you can't look me in my eyes, sis. But let's get back to how my life is. You hoes a puzzling case. It clearly doesn't matter if you younger or double my age. So now this is where the shots go 5-5. Because Ice is a couple years younger than Lotto. Nicki, double the age, right? So now she's doing a curved bullet here. I don't double date because my man think all of y'all niggas corny. He doesn't relate. You fighting for radio play. He fighting a government case. Bitch, get the fuck out my face. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. This is another one where people think she might be going at Nicki. Because, you know, you fighting for radio play as in Nicki. Fighting for radio play. And they say considering her album was mostly popular on the radio charts, kind of pop influenced. And then she comes in and says, he fighting a government case. And we know what Kenneth Petty had going on. Bitch, get the fuck out of my face. I don't know. That's just what some people are believing. You can make whatever, solution or reference that you want. Big shout out to me. So this is her celebratory moment, overcoming everything, actually fulfilling her dreams, getting to the place that she always wanted to be. The first line in the song is about the rap game. We know her from the rap game, the Jermaine Dupri show, basically a talent search show trying to find the next teen star or kid star. And she's come through so much many years later, and she actually made it. A lot of people from those shows don't make it to album number 3 or make it to, actually having a dedicated fan base. A lot of them come and go. Right? Shout out to Fly J doing her shit. So then verse 2, shout out to myself. Who the hardest out? Bitch, it's Lotto by herself. Ice is just water when it melts. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's clear. Ice is just water when it melts. Wipe you down. I got plenty of towels on the shelf. It's easy. So she's saying, what is ice to me? You just water when it melts. And I got that heat for your ass, and I'm going to wipe you down. I got plenty of towels on the shelf. Make quick work of you. The beef is really not that deep. Don't play coy with me. You know what you headed for. So he's saying, I'm down to stoop lower than your credit score, motherfucker. You really want to play with me? I really wasn't dissing your ass when I said your name in that song, but you wanted to play with me on this internet shit. We could go there. So don't start them. I don't want to hear about menopause or no postpartum. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sounds like more shots to me. More shots. This is where the shots are. This record here. Right? So you coming at me. You getting beside yourself. You getting really, you tripping. But now that the shit is out there, don't say it's about no menopause or no postpartum depression. You done had a kid, you know what I'm saying? Menopause, that's for aging women. Don't tell me that it's that. Okay? Because I'm really not trying to hear that shit when you came out and put it on the floor. So now I'm gonna have to wipe you down, right? I'm not wasting no time begging you hoes pardon, right? I'm not here to basically bow down to you, ask for your respect, ask for your permission to be who I am and do my shit. It just is what it is. You evil-eyed bitches got me saging the whole room. You aging in the face, but whatever, that's old news. More shots. The crown is coming home soon. I sit on the throne soon. Until the next girl with dreams of making some bold moves, the love they showed me is the love that I showed you. Because I'm a real Southern bitch and I told you, gold tooth, gold hoops, and soul food. Yeah, everything I'm saying is so true. Shout out to myself. And that ends the album, right? Now, of course, the rest of the project, you get to what they're calling disc 2 on DSPs. You get into Put It On The Floor, Put It On The Floor Again, Sunday Service, and the Sunday Service remix featuring Megan Thee Stallion and Flo Milli, which to me just tells me she wanted to focus on creating a body of work. And then disc 2 is using all of the numbers, all of the metrics from the singles that were released over the past year so that they could boost the sales. You know what I'm saying? Because you put this album out without none of the singles, the way that it's sequenced and everything, it's a great album, but it doesn't chart, right? But then you add Put It On The Floor, Put It On The Floor Again, Sunday Service remix. Now you tally all of those numbers that came from these, 4 versions of these songs. You add it to whatever interest is coming in from the album, and you see where she ends up at. Because of course, if it's not a commercial success, she gets laughed at like some of the others that have dropped this year. So you gotta play smart, but you also gotta play like I want to make a great album, which a lot of people have sacrificed quality of their albums, putting old material or, singles that really don't fit into the sequencing, but you got to do it. You know what I mean? So I like what they did here. I feel like a lot of these R&B pop records, these are investment pieces that are going to be rolled out over the course of the next year, testing them out in different markets. Like I said, in the pop radio, urban contemporary radio, some records off the album could probably get played on, just your typical hip hop radio stations, etc. So she's got a lot of different things that's moving at once. Quite a few of these records need videos. I'm sure they probably already worked on them. If not, they're on the way. The record with Coco Jones, definitely. Squeeze would be a smart song to do a video for, because that's the most poppy record on the album. Good to You with Sierra, definitely a skating rink record. Another smart play for people, the nostalgia of people who actually went through those experiences and lived in that era. Because, skating rinks still popping today, but it was just different at a certain time period, right? So, I mean, shit, that's what, 1, 2, 3 samples post-album release. Hurt and Miserable could definitely be played in a variety of different settings. Blick Something could be like the more hip-hop catered record. It ain't gonna like go up the charts or nothing, but you know what I'm saying? But she has a lot of music that could be serviced in different markets so that she can still kind of like keep this album rolling into 2025 and still be relevant. So I was very critical of Latto's rollout. I didn't feel like there was a rollout. Shout out to DJ Z. Why am I calling him DJ Z? He don't go by that shit no more. Shout out to Z from Audio Mac. A couple days ago, he came out and was talking about how artists are actually sacrificing more elaborate pre-release rollouts for and trying to invest their resources into post-album rollouts for the records that are already out and extending the shelf life of the project. I think this is exactly what it is, and I think that's exactly why disc 2 is all of the older material. I think more artists need to try to do the same thing if possible. I don't know how you go about releasing a double project in this fashion, like a disc 1, disc 2. I don't know the standards and the guidelines and requirements in order to do it, but I think more people should. So that's my assessment of Sugar Honey Iced Tea by Lotto. Again, I told y'all at the top of the show, I'm going to tell y'all once again. Album of the year, album of the year, album of the year, album of the year. Unless somebody else that's got a third or fourth quarter release can dethrone it, it's the best album I've heard this year. Big Sean, he just pushed his album back. It was supposed to drop today. It didn't. He said he needs a couple more weeks for planning and whatever the fuck else he got going on. So we'll see if he can contend. As far as the ladies go, I'm excluding nobody. This is my favorite album of the year from the ladies, period. It's my favorite album released yet. All encompassing. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Oh, I didn't even give it the rating. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving this one an 8. It's not perfect, but it's really fucking good. I give it an 8. And if you're going to get into like the 9s and 10s, like that's like certified classics, right? That hits all the benchmarks. But this is like a really good fucking album. I give it an 8. All right. Again, let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. It's so much better on the inside than outside. Okay. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, king of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.